Hello, folks, and welcome to Wednesday Wondering, October 26th. I hope your week is going well, almost in the middle of it. And today, as promised, I'd like to take us on a multiple intelligence theory exploration. And really, multiple intelligence theory is the foundation for effective, diligent teaching. I think you'd be hard pressed to find a a teacher who really loves what they do and is passionate that would disagree with that. I think that's almost universal in education. Okay, why? Well, we've got to unpack it first, and then let's see if it makes sense to you. All right. Let's see if this concept, established and articulated by Howard Gardner, okay, a researcher and a professor for many years who has studied, you know, human intelligence, personality theory, and many other aspects of humanity, particularly as it relates to learning, and has really unpacked something remarkable here. All right, and he did this as a researcher and as a professor back in the mid to late 80s, and it's interesting to see things that have really stood the test of time and judge for yourself, whether you think that this is just as relevant now as it was 40 years ago or 20 years ago when you were in high school or 10 years ago. All right, so here is the concept, and I will drop a link below. I could walk you through the website, but I just want to keep it kind of simple, and hopefully that'll have a more meaningful impact on your responses and on your reactions to this. And hopefully it makes sense. It's always got to connect to real life. So bottom line is, whether you are a student, a an adult, someone in the working world, okay, a grandparent, someone who provides childcare, whatever role you are in, I think this is going to resonate for you. Okay, so I wonder if when you were in school, elementary or high school, whether your teachers, or maybe at least one teacher, gave you some choices. All right, gave you some options how to learn something. Did you get those opportunities? Was there more than one way to do some math activities, or was it always one way for everyone? What was it like? Okay, did you have options to do projects in certain ways, or did you have to just do one project? All right, was it all posters in history or English or whichever, or did you have different ways of presenting based on your interest and based on your intelligences? Okay, so here's why I think this is important to look at. There are many different types of intelligences, and most of us grew up thinking that there were smart people and there were not smart people. And certainly our education system in past eras did a pretty good job of reinforcing those stereotypes. All right, someone who was smart went to university, someone who wasn't smart went elsewhere. Okay, and there was this kind of bias and this some intellectual snobbery and so on that really has fueled some people's views of themselves long after high school. All right, some of us have because of our multiple intelligences that maybe have never been really officially acknowledged. All right, have become successful, in spite of some of the learning experiences that we've had, and that's regrettable, but that's just the way it is, right? And so now I want to show you certainly how this underpins my teaching practice, but also my tutoring approach. All right, and if you think back to some of the fundamentals that I unpacked last week, everyone has the capacity to be successful. Well, on what basis can you just say that? And to overcome obstacles, everyone has that capacity. Well, this is what I'm talking about. Okay, this is the foundation for all of that, because people learn in different ways. All right, so let's unpack this. Bodily kinesthetic. right? That's that one, body smart. Some people are body smart and they are just so skilled. And maybe that was you in school, and maybe that's you now. All right. You just have a way of moving and adapting and responding, and your reflexes are really quick. All right. And you're just gifted that way. Some people have interpersonal intelligence. All right. And that's being people smart. You just have this sense. You got this sense how people interact, and you can kind of read, you can kind of read a room, you can read the temperature of the room. If you have interpersonal skills, you know what I mean by that. If that's not really how you think, it's like, what's Coy talking about? How do you read a room? All right, well, you got to have your antennae up. Can you get a sense for how people feel just by how they're walking and so on? So interpersonal, people smart. All right. And some of us are that way, and some of us have veered toward other types of intelligences. Understand, it's not greater, less than, better, worse. I really unpack this stuff in careers class, and it's very empowering. Word smart, verbal linguistic. All right, some people have incredible verbal linguistic skills. When they read, they absorb, they understand, and they are able to communicate. Okay, and the next one is logic smart. There we go. Right? Logic smart. Logical, mathematical. It just locks in. Okay. The quadratic equation, you learn it once, boom, done. SOHCAHTOA. Let's see. And on and on it goes. BEDMAS, like all of these acronyms. Maybe that's just locked in for you, and you have it figured out. Then there's also there's naturalistic. There we go. Nature smart, where you just have this gift to interact with nature, and you know plants and animals and the natural environment. That really is a strength of yours, and you feel like you just come alive when you're outside. Not everyone feels that way, and you know that to be true. You've got family members who'd rather not go on that canoe trip with you. Okay, and they give their reasons, and you're thinking, oh man, you're losing out. I mean, who cares about the bugs, right? And you're thinking fishing, you're thinking sitting by the campfire, and they're thinking, give me a nice hotel bed, with a buffet breakfast. So we're all different, aren't we? Okay, self-smart, intrapersonal. Okay, look at this one right here. When I'm talking about this, that person who you believe is self-smart. Maybe that's you. All right. You're pretty well connected with who you are. You've got a pretty good sense. You know what you can handle and what bothers you, and so on. Okay. So all that to say, that's another one. Okay. That's a sixth type of smart. And where you're connected with yourself. Not everybody is, and you know that to be true. Some people really struggle with that. Okay. So picture smart. All right. Visual spatial. This is not me. And I'm so grateful for my wife, who can, when we're downtown, big city, wherever, she, she can get directions. You turn left here, and then you go here, there, and the next place. If, let's say, the phone battery's dead and GPS is off, she can figure it out. Okay. I often do get turned around. Full disclosure. Music smart. All right. Some of us have incredible musical talent. It's just hardwired in. And what's interesting about some of these smarts too is that if we're really gifted at some of this stuff, we always wonder, well, why is it so hard for other people? And that's a classic human condition, isn't it? Right? It's like, well, of course, obviously you know what they meant. And the other person's saying, no, I didn't get that. Well, it's obvious. And so then now you're talking about a people smart person, right? Picture smart, we already covered. All right, so musical. So that's 8. And and there are theorists who are, proposing that there are even more. Okay. There is obviously, emotional intelligence was covered. There are professors and theorists and so on who take this to the next level, research scientists, and talk about existential intelligence. And philosophical and spiritual intelligence. All this to say, is this making some sense to you? That there are multiple intelligences, and some of this is traditionally valued more in society, or more broadly in society, than than others, right? So math smarts, word smart, we associate that with intellectual smart, to the exclusion of all these other incredible intelligences. So hopefully this has been kind of an empowering talk, just for you to realize that even if you missed the boat on multiple intelligence application theory when you were in school, if you had the one size fits all, I'm sure you learned how to sort that out after high school. But that can leave us in a bit of a rut, like, oh, I'm not smart. Well, on what basis? Okay, I mean, look at this, right? You are smart, and this is why I believe careers is one of the most important courses to teach in grade 10 and for students to take, because we unpack this and it's quite empowering. All right, so that's all I want to say about that. And once again, as always, I value any of your thoughts, responses, even just throw a picture down, or anything at all that just shows that this makes some kind of sense. Or maybe you've had different experiences. Anything to share? Any questions? Maybe share someone else's story. No names, like whatever. All right, just want to start these conversations going, because I think they can be helpful and also quite empowering. And if you are a parent who's looking at this and thinking, yeah, that this really makes sense to me, share this with your child. Okay, spread the word that there's many types of intelligences. And have a great Wednesday. Bye for now.